And we are live. The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
The adult beverage tonight is peppermint tea with honey.
It is.
Because my throat is on fire.
It's brutal.
It is the season for kids to bring back illness, to infect your entire house.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, howdy, did I get it. It's been, like, we are late recording this at the time of release. Terribly sorry for that, everybody, but I was down. Jeff, I believe you were down for a while there, too.
It's a cycle.
Everywhere. I'll tell you one of the worst things. That I kind of feared this going in, so listeners may remember that as of this moment, I'm going through an advent calendar of beer.
Oh, right, yes.
It's which has been fantastic. Night after night of joy and different craft breweries. It's been awesome. Guess what you can't do when you're sick with a throat that's like barely open whatsoever?
That's true, but guess what you get to look forward to?
Yeah.
I'm going to catch up on 5 days here.
I have a week behind on my beers. There's just so many stacking up, and there's this entire event as far as like, oh, okay, now it's the day. You can go to the link and read all about it. You know, specific for the day.
Yeah.
And going in, even then it's like I'm not that heavy a drinker as far as like I drink every single day.
Right.
But I was like, okay, it's Christmas. I can like commit. It's time to commit to something, Jeff. But
You're doing so well.
yeah, no, it out the window. I am so far behind, so I'm gonna have to just eventually get back into it. Anyways, everybody, apologies for the late start of it. To kick things off, I had a interesting trial here at the house.
Okay.
Tried something a little different. I don't know if any other gaming dads out there have tried the same thing. If so, I'd like to hear from you if it worked or if you had any tricks with it. Or if I'm just completely crazy, I should knock it off. Find us at our website, newdadgaming.com, or at newdadgaming on Twitter. But my son has recently gotten into soccer. He's got a bit of a natural talent for it, and he has a lot of fun with it. Like, he was coming home from school every day. Oh, we played soccer again with all my friends. Oh, it was so much fun. So we signed him up for it. Just a trial one. He really liked it. Really cool class and course. Like, excellent across the board.
Okay.
So my thinking was, how could I maybe support this non-linearly? And my thought was, him and I love to play video games. What if I download FIFA and we play a video game of this sport that he's kind of getting into? So he's getting it from all sides, and perhaps even seeing these guys, these quote unquote like professionals as far as in game running plays, and kind of gets more of a flow for a big field. Am I crazy for thinking that might have any benefit to him?
You are going to have a son that goes out to his next soccer game and be like, all right, I have this strategy. And he just whips out like a tablet and you're playing, through Game Pass cloud server. You're just, all right, this is what we're going to do. Everybody set up in formation, right?
Yeah. You spin around in circles over there. You glitch off the screen in that sense. And you kick a goal from the other side because I paid money.
Yeah. No, I like how you're merging those worlds, right? Like that connection there. So I think it could support him. It'd be funny, like maybe FIFA's not the best example just with all the junk that they load that game with, but if they have like a create a character, something that he could create himself, that would be amazing. As a kid, that's amazing. Like we never had that as kids, right? It was Super Nintendo, like Pixel Face or this Pixel Face. Like that was it.
I can't remember. Eventually in the PlayStation, Xbox, like Xbox 360, PS2 era, eventually you could start to create your character. That's when they started to get into career mode.
Right.
I remember that being amazing. I do remember with hockey it sucked. because it was like an actual game, and like you start on the fourth line, so you get like 2 to 3 minutes in a game.
Oh.
And you're literally on the bench, though. You're not playing the rest of the game. You're just watching these other people
just there.
play. So it's like, well, I paid for this.
It's like life. Oh, it's amazing. Live out my dreams on the bench again.
Fourth liner, cool.
Yeah.
At least I'm making a lot of money, I guess, on currency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be an interesting one. So I wasn't sure. Yeah, and to be clear, this wasn't about like, oh, I want him to be the best soccer player, so I want to overload it. It's more, hey, let's foster this
Yeah.
interest you have, and let's bring it into kind of a digital space that we enjoy together.
Right.
So now, the problem was is that another game was also introduced at the same time, and it completely and utterly eclipsed it. So I got him to
Okay.
play one game of soccer with me, and he's not looked back once.
Oh, that's it, eh?
Yeah. So the game in question is Rubber Bandits.
Oh.
And I'll say this, like gaming dads, you have got to check this one out. This is hilarious. Like the art style is it's so high fidelity. Like so it's cartoonish to the utmost degree. Rubber is like they are made of rubber. Like it's hilarious. But when I say high fidelity, it with the way they do the lighting and like tilt shift and everything else, it looks like little characters on screen.
Yeah, okay.
Like the physicality of them actually being kind of in that spot is real. The way they bounce around and jump off each other, they bound off of different items. When you're hitting each other, like it's very the physics are kind of spot on as to where you hit them and where they go flying. You are either co-op or on a team. Sorry, co-op or as adversaries. Four of you trying to get the most money compared to your other rubber compatriots. So the four of you are trying to pull off a heist and get all the money, or or two of you, three of you, whatever, or you're competing each other to get the most money as you jump around. There's a battle mode, so it's just survive the longest, have the most stars, but completely tongue in cheek, off the wall silliness, just harmless, hilarious fun. Like I highly recommend people check this one out.
Yeah, I might have to dip into the Game Pass inventory
There it
and
is.
look at this one because it kind of like with the video that you're showing, it reminds me of like a Human Fall Flat, kind of like these almost doughy characters running around, but it looks like it has a little bit more weight to it than that game. But it's the same kind of like, the funny factor, right? Where it's goofy, but like you said, has a realistic tone to it, but it's still like that goofy nature. So it's like a Saturday morning cartoon. So that
Oh,
could
yeah.
be, the new slapstick comedy kind of thing.
Yeah, they're just flapping around. I'm trying to see if I can find a part of the video. I do want to show you the some of the other game modes as far as because the one we're watching right now, it's just everybody slapping each other, which is very reminiscent of what would you call it? The boomerang foo.
Yeah, Boomerang Food. I thought you were gonna go with like the GoldenEye route where slappers only and you
Oh,
run
yes.
around.
Not quite, but you see this one on screen. So they've been brought into a particular map. There's a security guard that they all have to avoid or hit down. There's a loot chest. If they do get hit by the security guard, they lose all the money, and the purpose is just to get in, get the money, avoid the guards, and then exit. And it's
Right.
this super contained space. There's lives, but it's very non-committal. Like it's not a big deal. So it just makes
Yeah.
it super easy and approachable, and it's very couch co-op because it's up to 4 players locally.
Perfect. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, as long as there's like some sort of co-op option,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise my kids are gonna go at each other's throats, and they'd be like, "You stole all the money. That was my money," and I could just hear the conversations in my head. But it looks like it has options in case your kids are not those friendly kind of players yet. I know my kids start out that way, but then quickly it falls off a cliff. So no, it's good to see. I don't know. Again, I can check it out because I don't pay for anything on my Game Pass, so I'll just download
no.
it and check it.
I had heard the rumor that PlayStation might come out with something to compete with Game Pass, so their own version of it.
I think they have to, right?
I just hope they do because I feel I hate shilling for it every week, and because it's not so much about Xbox is better, haha, Game Pass, check out this game. It's more if you happen to have it, this game came on, it's amazing co-op, and as a family you can just download it.
Yeah.
No cost beyond your subscription. Give it a shot, see if your kids like it. So
Right.
if PlayStation could experience that same type of mode and interaction with games, I'd be very happy.
Just give me demos. That's all I want. It's a free thing. Just give me demos, and then if I like it, I'll totally get it. I don't get it.
So you're gonna get the Rubber Bandits demo, and you're gonna have one level, and you're just gonna play that ad
We'll make it a
nauseum
good
for the next
yes.
year.
Yes. Do you remember demos when we were back when we were kids? It was like you played that one level over and over and over, and you knew it,
Oh,
but it wanted like still wanted the full game. I know my kids will probably be like, "This sucks," this doesn't give me enough of a taste. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I think I basically wore through the PlayStation demo disc that came with the PlayStation 1.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
like that. There's a tank game. There was a sports game. Like I remember just doing it constantly.
Yeah, yeah, and you could always go out and get that magazine. A lot of the magazines had demo discs in them back in the day.
That's right.
God, man, we're so old. Magazines, what are those?
Well, it's now more like I'll tell you that. I think it's a lot more about just free games. Like in counter to that, like the amount of free, high quality content and games that you can get right now is just through the roof. Like you'd be really remiss to not ever have
Yeah.
to pay for a game unless you wanted to.
Well, and yeah, and like you said, you're kind of constantly bombarded with what's new, what's out there now, and it seems like game releases are it's just a barrage of stuff coming at you, and then you always sit there and be like, I have nothing to play. I don't know. I don't
So,
know.
so I'm curious this one because I think my kids have a certain detachment for. I've educated them around the cost of games because one of the problems has been previously with the Switch, like new games would just show up and like, hooray, there's
Oh,
more
right.
games. Let's get another game. And unfortunately now with like Game Pass, of course I have access to all of these games, so it's kind of
Yeah, it's out the window again.
yeah,
You're
that
like,
part's out of the window. So it's a bit of a weird world, but at least with the Switch, they've started to understand that like no, if you want that game, it costs like this money. Like
Right.
remember how the Tooth Fairy came and it gave you like $1? Well, it's like 30 of those. This game costs like 30 teeth.
yeah. You're
So
just
I
saying Nintendo's the tooth fairy that needs to take money from you and your teeth.
Kidneys more like it. Do your kids have a good understanding of the price of this hobby, like the real world cost?
I think they understand it enough to ask for the games for their birthday or for Christmas. Do you know what I
Ask for
mean?
gifts.
Because they do not. They understand like any Nintendo game. Again, Pokemon game. My son. There's like 4 of them coming out now. It's $90 with tax, and he knows that, and he knows that he doesn't have that. So he'll ask for Christmas or from Santa, or his birthday. I want this game because he knows that value. But that being said, some of the smaller titles, I don't think they understand those costs. So the big name titles, I think they get, but something maybe like the Rubber Bandits, I don't think they would understand. Like, why is this $20 or something? They would expect to pay next to nothing, and I don't think their phones that we kind of pass down to them help with that because the App Store is horrible
Yeah.
for that, right? 99 cents, you get a full-fledged game. That's what they're on.
Or free, then it's all microtransactions.
Or free. Exactly. Yeah. So we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, the birthday angle is hilarious. Like that's
Manipulation. That's what that is. that's what,
that actually kind of lends nicely into another thing for myself where I bought them Mario Party, the older
Okay.
one,
the older one. Yes.
just because I found a good deal. So like I've labeled this section like the $80 bet. In my case, is actually a $50 bet,
That's good.
but that's still not nothing, right?
No,
And
it's not.
And the problem is, in a world of no demos, kind of like you complain about, are they going to like this game? like,
Yeah.
and I could have them try it beforehand, but then it's kind of ruining the entire surprise
Yeah.
of Christmas morning and ripping it open. So that I kind of staring down at, unless they're I imagine it might be a little different for you because I imagine your kids ask you for specific titles, so you'll know that they want them.
Yep.
Whereas the place I'm at is, I'm kind of guessing what they want, and I sure hope it works.
Right. More of a gamble.
Well, I guess you had that recently with the Mario title, didn't you? Where it was desired and then turned out to be a bit of a dud.
With the All-Star collection, let's go back to that trauma. Yes. Because again, my son had tried out Mario 64, and then he wanted to try out the other 2. Did not like them at all. Like the mechanics in them, like turned him off almost immediately. So something for Mario Party where you're deciding, okay, what does my kid like? He likes Mario. This has that Mario theme, obviously, in a game board form. That could work, right? But it is a gamble. And I think my kids now kind of know what they want. My youngest, not entirely He doesn't entirely look into them. So again, Pokemon games he loves, but there's again 3 or 4 of them coming out, all different kind of styles, and I don't think he'll like Pokemon Snap, for instance. He'll want to catch those instead of taking pictures, right? So he asked for it for Christmas, but I don't think he'd like that, right? So it's like, no. We need to figure out what mechanics you like now.
Yeah, yeah.
You like the theme, I get that, but what mechanics are there? So, good luck to you in the Mario Party. I wouldn't have recommended it because I don't like the limitations of it, but a deal at $50, that is unheard of in
Just
Nintendo Land.
it was just it made it simple. So have you tried any tactics? I will say like they have played it once at a cousin's house. And just like they ripped it up, they like loved all playing it together. So that gave me enough of an edge. Like, okay, now that's been a while ago. Who knows where they are at the moment with the Rubber Bandits and the other games that they're currently obsessed with?
Yeah.
Maybe it's dead to them now.
That's
Have
it.
have you found any other tells, or has it really been just like listening or sampling or asking and hoping?
Now it's down to what their friends have too, right? So what their friends are playing is kind of what they want to get into. Minecraft is still up there. With
Always.
Mario Party though, it's interesting that you mentioned, at a cousin's house and stuff, because we've been so locked down here that they haven't had that experience. It's either been playing with us, right? And when
Right.
we had Mario Party, I think now it does have online play, but before it didn't. So we know of other people that have it that they could just zip online and play with now. If I subscribe to that service, now we're getting into more subscriptions. So do they know the value of that, getting online, and daddy needs to pay for that? I don't know.
Right.
So
So that's another interesting level because there's the one part of this game costs $60. Like, oh, you want to play with your friends online?
now
That
run it,
costs
yeah.
like $12 a month.
Yep.
That costs 12 teeth a month. Do you understand?
You better produce more. I mean, next month's coming. It's-
And that's how they got to therapy. And speaking of therapy, that's too good of a segue not to make.
Oh,
You and your wife got into It Takes Two,
yes.
which it was the award winner this year, I believe, 2021 Game of the Year. No,
Yeah, at the Game Awards, I watched the full 3.5 hour presentation. Far too long for a gaming dad. But yeah, it won the Game of the Year, and I said, okay, it's on sale. Let's try it out. And I asked my wife before that, like, do you want to play this with me? And she said, yes, it sounds okay. Right? Like, I explained it, light platforming, but a lot of the puzzles are in there. I think I didn't want to watch too much of it from a trailer,
Yeah.
but I wanted to get a sense of it, right? So I purchased it. I will not recommend this to anyone that doesn't know video games. It is extremely difficult. Even I was surprised at kind of what it enters into. A lot of the platforming and twitchy mechanics that you have to maneuver around is a little bit too quick and too fast. So one example is you both play at the same time, split screen, right? And you go through the level, and usually it'll kind of split you up. So one has, in a certain sequence, can shoot nails, and the other one gets a hammer to swing on those nails. So part of the level is I have to fire a nail into the wall. My wife has to swing on it with a hammer, and then I have to, when she jumps, pull that nail out of the wall and fire it to the next one so that she can swing on that one. And honestly, like, that kind of coordination, I guess, like, if you are a gaming family and you are into it and your wife's into it, or whoever you're playing with it, your spouse, great. But when you're kind of not so much of a gamer, it can be difficult, and it doesn't really give you any kind of assist to that as well. I didn't see any difficulty modes or anything, so we just had to like power through. And when my kids came over, seeing us how we are failing constantly, they're like, "Mom, I can help you." Oh, let us take over, right? The brothers can take over
of course.
and do this for you. But it's a great type of game. The fidelity is amazing. The levels are well thought out, and I'm actually surprised at the amount of puzzles that they thought up, and the bosses in it. I won't spoil anything, but so far it's a great story in that, you're trying to rekindle the love that you lost. Like, that's the whole It's kind of like that Unravel game where it was like about divorce and horribleness, but it's getting to a good moral. It's
Mm.
just the platforming and stuff. I will not recommend it to anybody that um, doesn't know how to game. Let's put it that way. So if you're a beginner, I will not, just don't jump into this. I would say you need to practice on your Marios before, or 2D Marios, and then come back to this. So
Don't put this strain on the marriage, please. Don't.
yeah, yeah, right. It's supposed to uplift you and not like break you apart. So
Absolutely. Now, uh, we had also discussed there was I could tell a situation in my household with a significant other not necessarily being able to understand a game.
yeah,
Is my poor wife. She non-gamer, just not her thing. Wasn't really
yeah,
into it, and our youngest was just desperate to get her to play Minecraft with him. So the older brother's gotten the younger one into Minecraft now,
yep,
and he was really not. He doesn't really grasp everything of it, but he's in the world. He like plays in some blocks. He builds some structures. He tears some stuff down. So super happy. Like
yeah,
he's doing great. And I was busy with my other son, and he just was desperate to get my wife to play with him. She's like, "All right, well, give it a shot. Give it a shot."
yeah,
And I could just hear from the other room as he's screaming, like with frustration. It's like, "No, you got to push this button. No,
yeah.
this button." I'm just, and my heart's going out to her because it's almost like we take it for granted sometimes. I don't know if you feel the same, but like how much like we grew up with it. We just have someone hands you a controller, you're like, okay, I will figure out the six. Okay,
Right.
this is jump, this is like grab. Like, okay, I can get it. This is shoot.
Yeah.
But for somebody like even three, the best part is you hand a controller to a non-gamer, and you watch them try to navigate 3D space on screen with their two thumbs. Like
Yeah.
it makes no sense to them whatsoever, right?
It no, it really doesn't. It's a learned skill, and just even going to It Takes Two, controlling the camera with the other joystick. A lot of the 3D games, that's what you do, and you do it automatically, right? When I was looking down at my controller to kind of tell her what to do, I'm like, whoa, that is not intuitive at all, right? Like
No.
we learned on it in a sense where those two joysticks came out, and we grew up on Nintendo 64 controllers too, so like we had that awkward phase, and now we're kind of masters of that. But yeah, I feel for your wife that tried to figure out Minecraft. It's not a good beginner game
No, my
for that
goodness.
stuff.
So my poor wife being taught Minecraft by the my youngest, and then, which is funny because my youngest got taught by the older brother. So there's this like
It's a
this family
down.
cycle of like education about how to play this darn game. We're probably still not even scratching the surface. I think there was but you had like a similar education type event with your household, no?
Oh yeah. So in the realm of Minecraft, we went over to my wife's cousin's house for dinner to visit with them for a bit, and they have three kids that are all like, there's 2, 4, 5 years old. So the oldest, who's 5, is really into Minecraft, but doesn't like it because he keeps dying.
Hmm.
So he'll only play for like 10-minute stints and then get upset at it and close it. So my oldest, 11, would go over and say, "Okay, well, what are you doing? Like, let's play, right?" And he showed him whatever he was doing wrong. I wasn't really paying attention, but he was doing something incorrectly that would always kill him. And he just showed him how to avoid that, or overcome that barrier. And immediately it clicked for my oldest cousin, and it was just like that was it. Like now he was all about Minecraft. He's like, "Can we play again?" They raced through supper. They cleared their plates. They washed their hands, and then you can hear the little footsteps of this 5-year-old come out and be like, "Okay, I'm done. Everything's done. Jude's taught me how to do this, so I'm gonna go play Minecraft with him if that's okay." And he jump right back into the world, and he's now loving it. So he just like, again, with these games, it's great in terms of like a learning aspect, but there's some things that it does not hold your hand on a lot of the mechanics of it. So now that maybe that's part of its charm, right? You meet other people that teach you other things and other tricks in the game. I don't know, but my oldest, I'm very proud that he could had the patience to kind of guide him through that. And now he's loving it. So he's waiting for the next visit to see look what I built, and we can show each other our Minecraft villages. So it's kind of a cool, again, games bringing people together. I don't know, that's great. It's a good feeling, and this is all through Minecraft. So
Also,
I
just
don't get
that,
it myself.
I'm
Too
terrible
old.
at it.
I'm too old. Yeah.
We're too old for this title, but I adore that, and just also the thrill of teaching somebody a skill.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great kindness of your son, like to take the time, especially with someone younger, show them the ropes, like show them a little bit of how to do it. And that's amazing. You can get kind of that passion and see like the joy of like, oh, if I give a little bit of myself and I give myself a bit of teaching, I can greatly help like other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And really just spread that knowledge around, because that 5-year-old is going to, meet their neighbors, right? They live in another city. So maybe now they can play Minecraft together and spread that knowledge further. So it's a cool thing to see. So, your wife's learning new skills. My son's teaching other people new skills. It's great as gaming dads, right?
Yeah. You know what? I don't think she's going to stay with it. But,
Oh, come on.
no insult to my son, but I don't. I'm not sure that's going to
No.
pan out for it, but that's okay. We'll just leave it up. We'll leave it to us gaming dads, and that is a good place to wrap it up for the week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. Apology again for the delay and bearing with my voice as we powered through this. But wrapping up towards this year, it's been a fantastic year with everybody. One of the greatest parts has been the interaction. Hearing Gaming Dad stories, getting tips, ideas, game reviews. It's been just phenomenal. So if you could do the same, it'd be great to hear from you on Twitter at New Dad Gaming. You can find us at our website, newdadgaming.com. If you have any advice, ideas, show notes, if you have any gaming tips, if you tried, like I did, to get a game version of real world interest, like soccer or anything else, would love to hear it. If your son's teaching Minecraft to other generations, anything above, of course, we just adore to hear you. So again, that's newdadgaming.com at newdadgaming. If you like the podcast, you can find us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all of the major podcasting services. We're trying as much as possible to get out to other gaming dads. What really helps is a subscription on any of those services. Of course, sharing it out to friends and family, but mostly also leaving a review. A review and a rating really helps us go up on the charts and get out to as many gaming dads as possible. We would really appreciate that. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Minecraft Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old. And just because he became a dad
doesn't mean it's game over. Hey, buddy, it takes two. Don't worry
That's
about
right. See you later.